Damian Ewens is a Providence native and an educator who has taught on both coasts in public, private, charter, middle, and high schools.
Sure. All right, I'm going to talk about, well, the past and future of learning. This used, well, here we go. The past started at the conveyor belt, as you can see here. This is 110 years ago. Model Ts were flying off of conveyor belts, proving to the world that efficiency and productivity could be transformed. Interestingly enough, at the same time, there's a real peak in students going into high school and college. And so, of course, all the educators said, well, we should make our own factory. This is a school in New York. I took this photo 2 weeks ago. This is a factory of learning. There's over 1,000 students. This is a middle school, so you're talking about 13-year-olds, all taking the same class, same time, same pace. Those schools are all over the country. There's thousands of them. The chance you have of graduating at any of the big cities of these schools is 50-50, which is an average, which means, of course, in places like Detroit and Newark, it's 25% as a graduation rate. 25%. Try running a company. This is the beginning of your school day. This is the front door at a typical comprehensive public high school. I take photos all over the country of high schools, and this is what a typical door looks like. You're on surveillance. No trespassing. We don't want the community in there because they're going to fuck up the learning. This is your classroom. We all sat in the same goddamn thing. There's an individual student, individual desk, facing forward in rows. The learning comes from the teacher, of course, who has a textbook, multi-billion-dollar industry, and they're going to put it all out at the same time in the same way to very, very, very different people, as we all know. This, as we also all know, is what we did in high school in America. Why? Except for the Latin and Greek. This started in 1892. Committee of 10 wealthy white males, presidents and professors in college. They realized that same uptick of people going to college and high school. This is the president of Harvard. He was the head of the Committee of 10. They realized, well, we should make sure everyone's learning the same stuff, because then they'll all be the same intelligent, right? So they actually made up the 4 years of English, 3 years of math, everything that we all took. 120 years later, it's completely unchanged. What happened? They did a study of 20,000 students in America in 1970. They said, what's the one word that you think of when you hear the word school? What is the word?
Boring.
Of course, we all know it. That's me in the middle, if I was a girl. This is the reviling grade span expectations. There's a zoom in on one page of a 100-page document. Every state in the country uses the very same standards. You can read it. The terrifying thing is for history. This is for grades kindergarten, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. So we're talking 5, 7, and 8-year-olds. The problem is, of course, when you throw birdseed on the ground, they don't line up. Right? We all learn differently. We're all very different people. Yet we have an educational system which is 120 years old. It's a factory. And the only freaking way we have to learn or to figure out whether these are good schools is we give them questions like this. I'm a math certified teacher. This is a poorly written math. It's idiotic, of course. It's content first. It does nothing about the child, right? Because they're sitting by themselves facing the teacher from the textbook. I'll let you guys read this. I don't know if you can, but you focus in on the 3rd panel. This is the important part. This is my time. It's summer. School's not kids' times. It's textbook time. It's union time. It's teacher time. It's content time. Well, what if this was the kids' time? What if this was the school day? This is Dan, a student I've worked with. He wanted to learn about set design. This is his school day. Working with a mentor. This is Rights and Reasons Theater right up the street. What does it mean to be intelligent in this situation? What does it mean to be intelligent in this situation? This is another student we've worked with. What's happening here? Contrast this, of course, to the question you saw, the math question. Right, that's quantifiable. You either answer that right or you answer it wrong. Well, she's got text, she's got all sorts of stuff going on here. This guy was a dropout at Barrington High School. Hated his life, was depressed, hated people, because he knew Barrington High School, this very good public school, it was a bunch of crap, it was fake. It had nothing to do with who he was. He wanted to know he loved medieval arts. He became the best tour guide at the Worcester Armory Museum during school. Monica Valley is a student of mine, this is my own piece. She would have dropped out of high school, she would tell you, because no one asked her what the hell she was interested in. She liked working with disabled kids. Full ride, Rhode Island College. She's becoming an elementary special ed teacher. She would have dropped out if she was in one of these dropout factories. So how do we learn? Technology is not necessarily the answer, but it's certainly what's going on. The biggest school in the world right now is YouTube. Guaranteed 80% of the presenters tonight went, what the fuck is Pecha Kucha? And they went to YouTube and they figured it out. I mean, how many of us learned there? This is one of the best schools in America. It's a freaking Apple store. And I say it's the best school because they're teaching the people what they want to know when they actually want to know it. It's actually relevant. A 90-year-old grandmother wants to learn how to do a slideshow for the 8-year-old grandchild who's in there and he wants to know something else. They're buying stuff, of course. That's why they're smart. The Apple Store is smart. The Dropout Factory is what is now being referenced as these big comprehensive high schools. 50% or worse dropout rates. This is a little side project I'm trying to figure out to raise some awareness. You can ask me about it later. It's actually predicated on Johns Hopkins study, which realized that we actually have dropout factories. This is Alf on a pickup truck in Fox Point. It has nothing really to do with my presentation. But the fact is, we don't know what institutional learning is going to look like.